now for one of America's most trusted professions to rise up and show the world the power of true CPA financial planning. When you partner with First Global, you can be more to your clients. Play large by unleashing the power of wealth management and let go of the idea that someone else knows what's best for your clients. Visit First Global at 1stglobal.com.
Welcome to the business show that will change the way you look at your business practice, your organization, and yourself. This is Let's Get Radical with Jody Padar. On today's show, you'll get the straight scoop on what it means to be radical and how it can help you become the next success story. Now, here's your host, Jody Padar.
Welcome back. I'm Jody Padar, and you're listening to Let's Get Radical, and we are live at the AICPA Engage event at MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and we are having an awesome time, and I think my two guests here right now are the most radical people at the whole conference. So, I heard that the session that Sarah delivered today had people dancing in it, and then Lindsey, we spoke to before break, and she was telling us all about how much passion she has for the profession. So I'm going to let Sarah introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what was going on this morning, because I heard it was quite the thing.
And that what you heard was true. A true story. So thanks for having me, Jody. And so my name is Sarah Elliott. I'm the co-founder and principal of Intend to Lead, and we're a leadership development company that empowers CPAs to access what we call the dimension of possible. It's the place where fear is no longer the enemy. So we do that through one-to-one coaching, group learning, and innovation labs. So what happened this morning was I invited the participants to join me in the dimension of possible, and we did that through dance. So it was really fun. And I will tell you that I wasn't sure it was going to work. I have literally never tried that before, so it was a bold move. It was me playing in the dimension of possible, and it was pretty magical. I was so proud. Who says CPAs aren't fun? That's garbage. We're super fun. Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about what that really means when you say coaching and leadership development? Because I think everyone says they do it and nobody really knows what that means.
Well, I think it's different for everyone. And I'll tell you that coaching, what I believe to be true coaching, is seeing that potential in someone, believing in that, and creating the space for them to find it. And so I believe everyone has their own wisdom within, their own answers within. We are each the expert in our own lives. And a really good coach can create that safe space for someone to explore, what do I really want to create in the world? Who am I? What are my strengths? What are my challenges? And when we can really go deep and explore that, they can figure out, what do I want to create and how can I do that? And coaching is not about me having the answers for you, because I don't know what your answers are, Jody. But it's about facilitating the path for you to uncover your own answers. So it sounds very esoteric and squishy. There's a bit of structure we use, but I think it's a little bit of magic as well that happens.
And you're a CPA?
I know I am. True story. I really am a CPA, but obviously no longer practicing. Yeah, but I practiced for 14 years, and I worked with a coach, and when I was in the practice, and it just expanded my view of the world. It helped me to understand who I am and how I can really contribute in a way that's uniquely me, and it gave me the courage to really take that leap of faith to do leadership development, because I see so much need for this in the profession, right? And as you know, there's so much uncertainty facing us, and we don't have all the answers, and we don't know. So how can we create a space for people to figure that out? And I think coaching is such a gift to do that.
And so, Lindsey, this is part of like the whole EDGE thing, right? So how does this tie in?
Well, I have to admit that Sarah has been my coach and continues to coach me all the time. So I have the benefit of, not only did she share it with EDGE this morning, but I live that with her on a pretty regular basis. And so EDGE, it's interesting because how it's transformed, right? When I first got on the task force, we were really kind of playing it safe a little bit, right? It was professional development, and we wanted to be on the edge, but we were afraid we lived in scarcity and fear, what Sarah talked about this morning, and we were afraid that the AICPA would say no. Like, you guys are young and you don't really know what you need. We know what you need, so these are the sessions you should do. And they never said that. They were really supportive, but we believed that, so we limited ourselves, and so we bought into that. And a couple of years ago, we said, let's be bold. Let's do some really crazy sessions. Like, we had someone last year actually do a session on PTSD and how that can impact you in the smallest way, to the largest way. And that was like, people were crying. People were sharing like really intimate details. And these are 200 people that have not met. 80% of them were brand new, have not met before that week. And they're sharing these personal stories. And so I think with Sarah, she also spoke for us last year, and it was so well received. People were so excited about this idea of the dimension of possible, and they were like, you mean I made up all this crud that's been holding me back, and I can just make up something new that's really cool and go live that? And she was like, yes, you can. And everybody was like, done. This is what we're doing, this is what we're living. So Edge has evolved, right, which is part of that sort of statement, to where we say, you know what? We don't have to play it safe anymore. We don't have to wait for everybody else to tell us what it's okay to learn about. We can have people like Sarah who are saying, be bold, be crazy, be dangerous, be fearless. And we can say, yeah, let's totally do that together. And so she inspired us this morning, and it was great because we had not only Edge people, we had people from other conferences who were, you would look at them and say, oh, you're the cliche CPA, right? The suit, the tie, looking all spiffy. And they were just dancing and owning it, and it was awesome. I'm like, video of all this. This is the most tremendous thing I've ever seen. And Sarah inspired that in the smallest way, because it was okay. It was okay to be afraid, but it was also okay to just be like, I'm good. That's fine. Thanks, fear. I'm out. I think what you said this morning was saying to fear, I see you there. I appreciate your concern for my safety, but I'm doing this anyway. And that was, right? People were like, what's Edge? Why haven't we said this? So Sarah was a great opener.
Thank you. Yeah, what Lindsey and her team have put together is incredible. And I love that you've recognized, right? Maybe you were playing safe and you're growing into it and evolving and being bolder. And you give everyone this gift. And I will say that being bold is, not everybody's going to like what you have to say. And you've got to put yourself out there, because if people don't know who you are and what you believe in and what you stand for, how can your people find you? If we're kind of plain vanilla, all the same, trying to please everybody, are we really making the difference that we could make? Are we really helping anybody that way?
Right. Well, and I think what happens is when you put yourself out there, the people who get you, and they attract to you, and that's who you really want to work with anyways. You don't want to work with the people who don't kind of get you anyways. So, but I think it's hard because, people have fears, right? So they have to, and you're in the CPA world, which is super conservative, and I bet they like it that you're a CPA, right?
Yeah, I know, probably say what you said. Are you sure you're a CPA? Yes, true story. But yeah, I think that does give a little bit of credibility. I'm not just someone I lived in the industry for 14 years. I lived in terms of practicing. So yeah, I'm not an outsider, right? Just saying, coming in with all our crazy woo-woo stuff, and I'm one of you.
And so how long have you had your consulting practice or your coaching practice?
Well, I left the practice in 2014 and started out on my own. So it's almost 4 years now. And I had the good fortune to connect with Brian Cush, my partner and co-founder. And we actually met thanks to Edge, because we were both speaking in 2015, and like-minded, right? People attract. And we launched Intend to Lead in really early 2016. So this is year 3 for us. So we're having a lot of fun.
And how's the journey been?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's been what maybe people expect about entrepreneurship. I'm not sure. What I will say when I went into business for myself was it's a lot harder than I thought it would be, because I thought, as a CPA, I know a little something about business, right? Much harder, but much more exhilarating, and getting to do what you love and live your purpose and make a difference to people every day. There's nothing better than that. There's just not. And
do you think too many CPAs have lost their purpose? Because when I talk about a utopian firm a lot, and I say the thing about utopia is that it's unique to you, right? And I feel like a lot of the boomers, when they started their firms, they had this passion, and yet now 30 years later, they're just kind of like going to work every day, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think in what you've seen with CPAs and the coaching that you've done that they've kind of lost it, or they don't know how to tap into it?
Yeah, that's a good question. What I talked about a bit this morning was to get in the dimension of possible, to create new possibilities and get fired up and feel alive. You need to dream boldly. And I think what I see in CPAs is we forgot how to dream. And we tell ourselves that it's not okay or it's not responsible or, I'm not sure how I'm going to get to that end result that I want, so why bother dreaming about it? Because as CPAs, we're very smart. We analyze, we spreadsheet everything. And if I can't see a path to where I want to go, is it worth it? Is it possible? And so I do think over time, we buy into that mindset of limitation and we forget how to dream and how to be alive and connect with our purpose. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too, because I just think that it's part of, and I don't want to say our DNA because there's a lot of really cool CPAs, and it seems like when you get them one-on-one, like they think the world is possible. It's just you put them in a firm and that dies. And I don't know why, right? I don't know if it's the organizational structure or whatever, but it's just interesting because like even when you talk to the young professionals, they're all excited, and then it's like, oh, this is really great. And then they go back home to their firms and it's like, what happened, right? So to me, how do we carry that, right?
Yeah. Well, are we cultivating an environment and opportunities for someone to have the space to explore who they are, to try what they like? I think when we have so much structure in a firm, we kind of want everyone to fit the mold and the label of what we need them to be and do, and that really stifles creativity, right? But if we give people a little space to understand who they are and actually ask them and say, what do you want to be involved in? What are you curious about? It can really open up new opportunities for the firm as well, right? But that's scary for people. Back to fear. It's scary because we don't know what that answer is going to be. What if that person decides to leave? You know what? They were probably going to leave anyway. Maybe just not yet, but that's scary. So I get it, but I really do think it's fear holding us back. And then to your point, we get in this firm and this culture maybe where there's a mindset and that's contagious.
Right. So how has Las Vegas been so far for you guys this week? Have you been here all week as well?
I just got here yesterday afternoon. So, and I was on this morning, so I've been working.
Sarah was all conservative. She's like, I need to be back to my hotel room by 9:30, and I got really a lot of stuff to do. But we did get to have drinks last night, her and Brian and another team member from Intent to Lead. And what's great about Edge being part of Engage and this whole conference is you walk the halls and you see somebody that you saw in a session or that you saw, just in the exhibit hall here or whatever, and you're like, hey, oh, yeah, we should totally, and you don't know each other, but now you're going to know each other because somehow 5,000 people feels like a close family. I'm not sure how it's working, but it is, and it's really interesting because I was worried, right? Edge is this little conference, and this is this mega conference, and I was like, oh, man, we're going to get lost in the shuffle. There's not going to be this community. And that's not the case because I think what you said, giving permission to play, giving permission to think about these other opportunities, I feel like we're shifting that way. So you said, there's these CPAs that go back to their firm and they feel like it's all closed off. But I think there's a lot of them who are also realizing if I just give permission, just a little bit of permission to be bold and be exciting, then wow, the door that opens for that, it's mind-blowing. And I think there's more of that happening. And so I'm excited by that because it's not just young CPAs anymore. No, I think it's across the board now.
Yeah, I think it's always not just been young CPAs because what was interesting to me is, there are a lot of, I'll say young CPAs dressed up in boomer bodies, right? and they want the change to happen as well. So they're helping and they're sponsoring people and they're putting people in the right places, but everything takes time. So we just have to be patient, which I'm not very good at. Not at all. So I'm so glad that you both were able to join me because you two really are the radical ones. I think you are the most radical in this conference. Probably going to be the most radical of my interviews today. And yeah, so have a great night in Vegas and stay tuned because we're going to be back with more interviews all day long.